Alright, welcome back to another recent gaming. Since I filmed the last one in which I talked about PS4 games, because I'm currently grinding PS4 games, I finished 7 more. So I have here 7 PS4 games. And so I talk about all of them for a little bit, do mini reviews. Now, in the last one, I got a comment that it would be great if there was gameplay in the videos, but that is not currently possible. I don't have the time to edit videos, so this will have to do. I'll just get the cases and talk about each one for a little bit. Let's talk first about Turnip Boy commits tax evasion. I featured this in one of the recent pickups videos, and I already beat it. Now, this is a small, kind of like a Zelda clone in a sense, indie game. Just a humor game, like you can tell from the title alone that it's a comedy game. Pretty funny, to be honest. And the gameplay is exactly what you would expect from a Zelda clone. You go into dungeons and there's this small little puzzles and the boss fight. And yeah, you collect items in this game. That's the main thing to do. You collect items and they all have these funny, like stupid little jokes about them. All the characters are ridiculous, but I kind of liked it. It's a very short game. It took me 2 sessions, so one evening and one afternoon to beat it. But yeah, if you're looking for some funny, like for a funny little palate cleanser in between other games to play, I can recommend Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion if you're into these dumb little games. I'll give it a low 7 out of 10. I quite enjoyed my time with it. I like the writing a lot. It's very charming. Right. After that, the next game that I beat is The Girl and the Robot, which I also featured in one of the recent pickups videos. Now, this one I'm not as positive on as Turnip Boy. Like you can tell from back that it got its inspiration from Ico and other games like that. It looks pretty nice. Or at least the cover, the graphics themselves. I mean, it looks like a PS2 game. So it's very, very rudimentary in the graphics department. The gameplay has some interesting ideas. You control these 2 characters, the robot and the girl, and they both have different skills, and you have to complete puzzles by using both of them. I would say that the problem with the game is that the combat is absolutely dreadful. It's really, really bad and clunky. You have to use the robot to fight some enemies, and it's just, you press one button and walk backwards, basically. It's really, really bad. The level design also, some of the levels are really annoying to play, especially the labyrinth level. And then there are these parts where the floor is invisible and you have to use one character to illuminate the floor, and it only stays on for like a second, and you have to memorize the pattern and walk on air. Like, it's not that great. I would give The Girl and the Robot a low 4 out of 10. It's a small indie game. I think they kickstarted this, so this got a bunch of money from Kickstarter. I don't know if the people who funded it are happy with what they got, but at least it got made and released, and that's positive, I guess. There were supposed to be more games in this. This was supposed to be just part 1, but I don't know if there are going to be any other ones because the reception was so lackluster for an obvious reason as well. Right. Next up, I finished Danmaku Unlimited 3. Again, another recent pickup. This is a shoot 'em up title, as you can tell from the back, very colorful and intense. A bullet hell style game. I really enjoyed this one a lot. definitely something I would recommend to anyone who's interested in shoot 'em up games. If you haven't checked this one out yet, has great music, lots of variety in the gameplay. I always like it when a shoot 'em up title has some, like, it's basic in terms of gameplay, but then it has some little mechanic that kind of gives some variety. So this one has a graze mechanic. So the closer you are to the enemy bullets when you dodge them, the more you gain this meter that then, when it's filled, gives you a special attack that's very powerful. So you're always looking for a way to dodge the bullets by staying as close to them as possible, which is kind of nerve-wracking but fun at the same time. So I really like that mechanic. The game also looks great, it runs great, and yeah, just an overall good time for anyone who's into shoot 'em ups. I would give Danmaku Unlimited 3 a solid 8 out of 10. Next up, more limited run games releases, like Danmaku 3 was as well. Always Sometimes Monsters, which is a RPG Maker style, story-driven, role-playing game, basically. This reminds me a lot of the old browser games. You had these Flash games where you were just in an open world sandbox, living your life every day, and that sort of thing. I don't know if any of those games even exist online anymore. I remember playing a bunch of them as a kid on websites like Newgrounds and whatnot. And this is kind of like that. It's a life simulator. You are thrown on a street by your landlord, and you get a message from an old acquaintance that triggers this series of events that end up with you going from one side of the United States on a road trip to the other side, and stopping in various cities and towns in between, going from one place to another. And it's an interesting idea. The problem with this game, like, this is a game that a lot of people really, really love, but some people are a little bit less warm on. Let's put it that way. And I definitely belong to the latter category. There are some serious problems with this game. The start is fantastic, like the first area you play in, it's very interesting, lots of different choices, but you can tell the further on you get in a game that they were just running out of time, and it's almost unfinished in a sense. There is an ending, yeah, but many of the areas later on in the game are very underwhelming and as I said, unfinished. Also, the writing gets progressively worse the further on you get in the game. And by that, I don't just mean the quality of writing, I mean just how many grammar errors there are in the writing and how many just spelling mistakes there are. When I was near the end, there were sections in a game where I couldn't get through a conversation with another character without there being at least 2 or 3 errors in the writing. Just straight up errors in the writing in terms of grammar and spelling mistakes. And in a game that is mostly text and talking to people, that's a really bad sign. I cannot give this game a higher than, let's say, a 6 out of 10, just because of how disappointed I was by the end, because the game starts very strong and it has an interesting story and very interesting characters. Definitely a very unique game as well. There aren't that many games like this out there that are this well made to an extent, but then fall flat at the end. It's disappointing. This could have been a truly fantastic, like classic modern indie game. There is a sequel. I haven't played that one. Maybe it improves on some of the problems that this game has. There are a lot of mechanics in this game as well. There's like food, you have to eat and drink so that you don't starve. You have to find a place to sleep because you're homeless. There's a stock market portion to the game, and you do jobs to get money, and then you buy stuff, and there's fishing and there's everything, but most of the mechanics are kind of underdeveloped as well. So yeah, I'll give always sometimes monster a 6 out of 10. Definitely worth checking out. You may find something of interest in there, but yeah, I wish it was better. It could have been fantastic. Let's move on to something completely different. This is 112th Seed, released by Red Art Games. Has this slipcover. There's a little bit of difference in the artwork underneath. Is there anything inside? Nah. Nope. And this is a very simple little puzzle game. 2D side-scrolling, like platformer puzzler. You have these individual levels that you go to, like these little rooms, and you have to figure out how to get to the exit. An extremely fast platinum. You can platinum this game in less than an hour, so if you're into trophy hunting, definitely check this one out. The game continues after the platinum trophy. I did finish the whole game. Like, you get the platinum trophy after finishing 1/3 of the game, and there's 2 areas after that you have to get through to get to the ending. It's all right. I'll give it a 5 out of 10 for good effort. The pixel graphics look very nice, and it has this very cute art style. You control a seed, and you have to grow flowers, and to progress, this sort of thing. It's kind of funny, and the gameplay is pretty good. The puzzles are quite simple, actually very simple. There were a couple in the end of the game, or near the end of the game, that were a little bit more challenging, but yeah, I finished it in one session, maybe like 2 hours. It took me less than 2 hours, like an hour and 30 minutes or something like that. Next up, a game that I didn't expect to enjoy, but I ended up playing this for quite a few days. This is Musings, released by Limited Run Games. And this is a rhythm game. Kind of plays a little bit similarly to something like Guitar Hero, where you have these notes that come at you from the horizon. They come towards you, and you have to press the buttons in the correct order. At first, I was very confused by the controls, because there isn't like any peripherals or there isn't a specific controller for this game for the PS4. It's originally a mobile game. It's probably a lot easier to play on a mobile screen as well. But on the PS4, you have 2 settings. You have a 4-button mode and then a more difficult 6-button mode. And how you play the game is that you have on the left and on the right, you have left arrow, up arrow, and then X, and I guess, was it circle or square? And you have to press these buttons. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you play the game for an hour or so, it feels like second nature to press the correct buttons. Lots of gameplay here. I think there are 96 songs in here, something like that. There were a lot of updates to this game. Lots of new songs were added. The music itself is not something that I really enjoy, because it's this fake anime style music. I think most of the songs are made by Chinese people. At least the names that have been given for the composers sound like they're Chinese. And I think the singing is also in Chinese. So it's this fake Japanese anime style, like you can tell from the cover as well. And it's kind of cringy, and I'm not into Vocaloids. It's Vocaloid vocals on these songs. Some of them are instrumental as well, but yeah. But there are lots of different songs, lots of variety. Some of the songs are insanely difficult. Some of them are very easy. So yeah, I played this game for like 4 days straight. I couldn't stop playing it. So it's very addictive. I'll give it a strong 6 out of 10. It's definitely nowhere near as good as as some of the older like Guitar Hero games or Rock Band or anything like that, but quite interesting. I was positively surprised by it. And then lastly, I have here a game by Red Art Games again, Old Man's Journey, which is again one of these very short. This is like a point and click adventure game almost. You do these puzzles where you are manipulating the environment. There are different layers to the land, and you have to like pull on the land up and down to create a path for your character, this old guy who's standing there pondering what life is all about. And yeah, you go on a journey. You control an old man. Surprise, surprise. And the art style is very nice. It has this hand-drawn look to it. The puzzles are very easy, but it's not about the puzzles. It's about the story. It's a very typical story. This old guy has had some family trouble, and you learn more about him as he goes on forward with his journey. Yeah, again, a very short game, a very easy platinum. I finished it in one session, took a couple of hours. So yeah, kind of, I quite enjoyed this one. I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10 as well. So that's what I've been playing recently. Now in December I'll probably film another one of these, but that won't have as many games in it as this one, because I've been working on something a little bit more time consuming. I've been playing one game for the past couple of weeks now, and yeah. But yeah, I'll probably film another one of these before the end of the year, depending on how much time I have to play games. I don't have much time at the moment to play games, and it's going to last for a couple of weeks now that I will have even less time to play. So. But when New Year comes, then I'll probably start filming more videos as well. I've been releasing videos on a slower pace as well, because I just haven't had the time to do so at the moment. But yeah, it will probably pick up again at some point. Right, but that's enough rambling from me. Let's end on this. I also forgot there's a manual for Danmaku Unlimited 3. I don't think I've shown this one in any of the other videos, because this was sealed when I got it. Yeah, has some pretty nice looking art. And let's just put this like this, and I'll have a thumbnail so I don't have to do that separately, like this maybe. And less reflections, please. Yeah, that's it. Right, thanks for watching, and I'll return again very soon. Bye.